So this is the second part of our third video of the Revit Max project. I'm going to finish up adding the rocks and trees to the site. Another thing, when we merged these rocks into the scene, they just went to level 0. I'm going to click on the rock there, click on the last button here in my layer toolbar. When I click on that button, notice it says 0 default. So that's just showing me the rock was on that layer. So any new element you merge in is going to go to layer 0. It's a good habit to get into to add new layers for all your objects. So I'm going to add a new layer in here and call it 3D rocks. So the first button on the right side there of my layer toolbar, create new layer, and I'm going to make this the 3D rock layer. And then just hit OK. And then now that's my current layer. So now I'm going to select all the rocks. So I have one rock selected. I'm going to hold Control down and so do multiple select to select the other rocks. And then a little plus sign up here, I'm going to click on that icon, and that's going to add those rocks to the new layer I created. So just whatever objects are selected are put on that layer. So now if I go into my layer manager and go under that 3D rock layer, and the 3D rock layer showed up on the top of my list here, notice those 4 rocks are now on that layer. So a good habit to get into, because at times you may want to hide them, or later when we're doing rendering and stuff, you may want to turn that layer off. Now we're going to add a tree to the site, and I'm going to add a tree over to the right side here of the site. And there's some built-in trees in Max. I'm going to go up and create a new layer, just like I did for the rocks. So clicking on the button in the layer toolbar up there, create new layer. And I'll just call this one 3D trees. Hit OK. Now that's my current layer. So now any objects I create are going to go right on that layer. So in my Create panel, under Standard Primitives, I'm going to select AEC Extended. So that drop down gives me access to a lot of other objects. Notice there's walls and railings that are built into Max also. So I'm going to click on our trees here. And then here's a list of trees and shrubs that are built into Max. And I'm going to end up putting an American elm onto the site here. I want that tree to fit right on the site. I don't want it to be under the site, over the model. So if I turn Auto Grid on, notice with Auto Grid checked on, wherever my mouse hovers, that's where the cursor is basically attached to. So I'm on whatever surface is there. So if I want that tree on the side of the site, I just left click from the list for the American elm, and then click on the site, and since Auto Grid is on, the bottom of the trunk of that tree will fit right on there. So I got my tree in there. Now I can go under Modify, and in my Modify panel, a few things I can change on the tree, such as the height. So I'm going to change the height to 21 feet. And then the density, I'll make about 0.6 just to show that it can be changed. So you have a few less leaves on there. And you've got other settings too that you can change. And I'm just checking my front view, and the bottom of that trunk is sitting nice on the site. Notice when the tree's not selected, you get that canopy view mode where it turns into a canopy. It just saves you memory when you're moving around. Video display will just work a little smoother. So that adds a tree to our site. So that's all I'm going to add for now, just to add a few more objects or elements to our site. And that's the end of this third video.